Welcome back to video 3. I'm assuming that means you're in your 3rd trimester. So heading towards the finish line now. It's getting very exciting. Today we focus on some strong standing poses, so getting those legs ready for the marathon that is labour and birth. And we do some breathing exercises to work on the skills that you'll need to focus and anchor your thoughts during birth, because it can be really helpful to have something to focus on, because the worst thing you can do during labour and birth is to freak out. If you know that what's happening is perfectly natural and you know that your body knows exactly what to do, which it does, then you'll be perfectly fine. So let's get started. So to start with, I just want to bring your awareness now. Obviously, you're probably feeling quite heavy in this front area and your back may be starting to arch a little bit. We tend to stick those hips out a little bit to counterbalance all this weight that's going on at the front. So what you need to be aware of is, even though the natural tendency is to curve this way, it's putting a lot of pressure on that lower back. So if you can just gently tuck the tailbone in, not sticking the butt out, but just gently sliding it down. So really anchoring these muscles, even though they're quite stretched and working quite hard, you still have control of them. So just anchoring down, drawing in slightly, rolling the shoulders back and down, activating the muscles of the legs, and really bringing awareness to this so that throughout our day we can bring that alignment back into these areas. All right, as you exhale, I want you to come down into your chair. So hands can come onto the knees, or you can inhale the arms up. So again, focus on your awareness. Take the legs as wide as you need here. Draw that tailbone in. And just breathe. So connect with your Ujjayi breathing in and out through the nose. Bring the focus to your center, maybe even bringing the hands to heart center. And just breathing here. As you exhale, press strongly into both feet, taking both feet wide, so coming to the side of your mat if that's more comfortable. Turning the toes out slightly and taking a seat down into your goddess. So rolling the shoulders back and down. Again, keeping that focus on drawing tailbone towards the earth. Maybe even closing down the eyes. If that's too strong like this, bring the hands onto the thighs. So this is actually a really good position during contractions. We're helping, gravity is getting everything moving in the right direction. You can even take gentle rocks from side to side. So you do need strong legs for labour. You are going to get tired. It is a strenuous act. It's perfectly natural and you have the strength to do it, but you'll be better off if you prepare for it. So spending a few minutes a day in our squat, breathing into that space and focusing on breathing your air down towards baby is really going to help you in those final hours of birth. Let's just inhale, straighten up the legs, give them a break for a moment. So turn the toes in, hands onto the hips, and just bring the hands down to the floor. So just with fingertips on the floor. We don't need to take it too low. Contracting the muscles of the thighs so that the legs are nice and active, and protecting those muscles. Remembering not to overstretch. That relaxin hormone's working overdrive now. We don't need to push anything. And then as you inhale, just bring the hands back up onto the hips. Activate the muscles of the legs, slowly rising all the way up, turning the toes back out. Taking your seat back down and inhaling one arm up and over. So you can look up towards the armpit, you can look down towards the floor, whatever feels good for your neck. And just breathe here. Maybe taking a moment to check in with what Bub's doing. Are they active or have they gone to sleep with all this rocking? Inhale the arm up and over, changing sides. All right, so let's take our feet back to the front of our mat now. Stepping that left foot back and inhale, rise the arms up. So we're in a high lunge. If you're feeling a little bit tired today, you might bring the back knee down to the ground and just work here. You could even bring the hands onto the hips if that intense stretching isn't feeling good through the midsection. So just breathe here. If you are working with strong legs, press that back heel down towards the earth so that back leg is nice and strong. If you're feeling energetic today, you might exhale that back knee down and then inhale, press strongly into the legs to rise back up. So more building strength through those legs. Exhale and inhale. Exhale and inhale. And then bring the hands down to the earth in front of you. So you may need to bring that front knee wide to make space here. And we're going to bring this back foot into forward fold. So if you need to, you can take a few little steps in, or step it all the way up. Keep the legs nice and wide, bend into the knees and let that top half of the body just hang. So just gently swaying back and forward, releasing through that torso, letting the hips release, feeling the stretch through the hamstrings. As you inhale, we're going to take the hands onto the shins, straighten up the back and the legs to bow pull. And then exhale, release back down. From here, we're going to bend those knees and slowly rise the body all the way back up to stand. So if you are suffering from any blood pressure issues, just move really slowly. Let that equilibrium come back before you move anywhere else. And then stepping that right leg back this time. Remember, you can take that back knee down. Bend into that front leg, option to add the arms if it feels good today. And then as you exhale, bend into that back knee, inhale, rising back up. Exhale, lower, inhale, rise. Exhale, lower, inhale, rise. Once more, exhale and inhale. Bring the hands back through heart center. I want you to gently close down the eyes. Bring the hands to heart center. I want you to focus on the breath, breathing in slowly through the nose. And as you exhale, breathe the air down towards your belly. Imagine all that beautiful air, beautiful fresh new air surrounding your baby. And I know that the feet are starting to get a little bit louder with their protests. They don't like sitting like this. I promise you they are fine. Unless you're having massive foot cramps, please try and stay and just breathe through it. Keep sending that air down towards your baby. Obviously, when you're in labour, you'll be sending the air right down and out. But for now, just send it to this area and feel as if it was swirling around. When you're ready and when you've had enough, come off the feet and we're going to sit back towards them. So you'll need to take the knees wide to make space for that belly. Stretch the arms out and let the forehead sink down. If that's not comfortable anymore, you can start using your bolster for child's pose. So bringing it just underneath the chest, wherever is comfortable, and resting the head down. And when you're ready, slowly rising back up from your child's pose, getting rid of the bolster, and coming up onto hands and knees. So knees under the hips, hands under the shoulders. Let's just cat-cow here for a moment. So gently with the up cat, because your belly's already doing this action, your back is already curving in this way. So just a gentle inhale, pressing the floor away. And then exhale, looking back towards the thighs, tucking that tailbone under. Inhale, rise. Exhale, release. Take the arms wide, step that left foot through. So coming into our kneeling lunge, you may need to wiggle that back knee back a little bit. Use the thigh to come up. And just lean into the opening through the hip. So just gently does it. So let's just inhale that right arm up and over, stretching into the side body. So even in poses like this, where they're not as difficult as the one where we sat on the toes, you can still work with the breath, sending it down towards your baby. Still work with using the breath to anchor the mind, because it's that skill. Let's inhale the arm up. It's going to be most helpful during labour and birth. Let's step that front knee back, maybe taking a seat back to child's pose just for a moment, stretching out through those arms, even taking the arms behind the head and sinking down for a minute. And then inhale the arms back out, come back up onto the knees, stepping the right foot forward this time. So going gently, using that thigh to come up and rise. Inhale the arms up if it's comfortable. You could just leave them on that thigh. If you'd like some further opening through the chest, you could interlace the fingers and open up looking towards the ceiling. And let's rest on the thigh and inhale that left arm up and over, perhaps looking up towards the left elbow. Just breathing here. And just bringing that hand down now, framing that front foot. Bringing the weight into both palms, tucking the back toes under. And just gently bringing that front leg all the way back through down dog. So pedaling out through the heels. Taking it as gentle as you need, bending into those knees as much as you need, lifting that tailbone high, and then just gently drawing energy down through the heels towards the earth. As you inhale, we're going to lift the right leg up, bend the knee and open out the hip. So just working to where you're comfortable. As I said before, if you're finding you've got some pelvis pain, this might not feel good for you today. So just stay in the down dog, staying with that alignment. Even doing a modified dog with the hands on the wall. Let's exhale that foot down and then step the knee forward behind that right wrist. So we're moving into our pigeon. Work that back leg back down along the mat. Now if you're finding this is too intense for the hips, you can place a bolster underneath so that you're sitting down and gravity's not drawing you down so strongly, and just staying tall in that spine. So inhaling, lifting through that heart space. If it's feeling good, you can creep further forward. I don't have two bolsters with me, but if you did, or you didn't need it underneath you, at this later stage of pregnancy, I found it really nice to have the chest resting on a bolster, creating space here. You may need to tuck that heel a little bit higher into the groin so that you're almost sitting on this top leg to really create the amount of room that you need at the front. So just modify however works for you. And as you inhale, bring the hands back up, maybe move the bolster out the way. Tuck those back toes under. So lift the back leg first, press the foot away and step back into your down dog. So pedaling out through the heels once more, and either staying here or lifting left leg, bending the knee and opening it out if it still feels good for you. And then exhale the leg back down, then bring knee behind wrist. So remember, you may need to tuck that heel in towards the groin. Feel free to bring your props back and settle in or sit tall or take the seated variation. And just breathe. Feeling the body drawing down towards the earth. And then slowly walking the hands back up. Just support the body to roll onto this leg and bring the back leg around. We're coming to have a seat. So let's now just take the end of our practice to go inside and to focus on that breath. So we'll close down the eyes wherever you are. Try to make each breath as long as you can. So during birth and labour, you will want your lungs as healthy as you can make them. So practicing breathing in, perhaps starting with a count of 4 and then increasing it with each breath until you start to feel like that's enough for you, and then find your number and stay on that today. So in 1, 2, 3, 4. Out 4, 3, 2, 1. In 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Out. 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. So remembering each time you breathe in, feeling that belly fill like a balloon. And each time you breathe out, send that air and that energy downwards towards your baby. In and out. So I'd like to thank you so much for joining me for this 3-part series. I hope that you've stayed with me for each of the 3 trimesters, and I hope that it has helped you open up to this journey a little bit more, to reconnect or to connect with you and your baby. And I hope that you're feeling confident, empowered, and excited going into birth and labour. So along with the videos, I also offer a digital download of a guide. It has all the information that I haven't been able to cover in the yoga classes on how the body works during labour and birth. It shows you some positions for labour, some tips for your support partner. So everything you need to know to empower you, to educate you, and to allow you to go into your birth and the birth of your baby in a supported way.